Zimbabwe, there is no job. If you try to do your business, they said you are not allowed to do business in Zimbabwe. So how can we survive? How can our kids go to school? Because there is no job. Even the kids, they are going to school, but they end up drinking drugs because they don't have anything to do.
We are ready for any chaos, to deal with any chaos. Whoever who preach hate speech shall be responsible for their hate speech. Our prisons are not full.
We hear the president saying he is not going to stand in 2030, but the people were singing.
Restoration of fundamental freedom, restoration of discipline and order in the country. We can't have a country where people are subjected to abuses by drug lords.
Now, with Zanu-PF having its national conference in Mutare this week, on this, the Free Talk, in proud partnership with the Frederick Newman Foundation for Freedom, we are turning our attention to what is happening in Mutare, especially within Zanu-PF, because Zanu-PF is the ruling party. It is the one that controls the levers of power within government, and some say also within the military, the security securocrats, and also in the business and the economy. And it is important for us to put our attention and turn our focus to them. And now we are going to be discussing Zanu-PF, people power, succession, and way to in 2030. Now, this is and this will always be the Free Talk with me, your host as usual, Dara B. Join me after this break. Welcome back to this, the Free Talk, in proud partnership with the Frederick Newman Foundation for Freedom. Now, on the table and on discussion is Zanu-PF this week on this, the Free Talk. And we're going to be talking about the power matrix, the build up to the conference, and beyond the conference. And there's no better person, neutral person, to be able to discuss these issues without taking sides and to be looking inside what is happening in the cockpit. Zanu-PF, none other than the Zimbabwe National Editors Forum National Coordinator. He has served in many capacities. First, as the news editor at the Pink Paper at the Financial Gazette, where he assembled a cast of talent of journalists who used to get the big stories in politics. He also served as a deputy editor of the Southern Eye in Bulawayo for the Alpha Media Holdings. He has served in a number of positions as an influential journalist, a political journalist and analyst for that matter. I want to welcome you. Thank you for coming through, Njabulo Ngwe.
Thank you, sir.
Njabulo, you have been running newsrooms the better part of your life at senior leadership. Now, as Zanu-PF is going into this conference, what are you looking at? What is it that the people of Zimbabwe need to know?
Yeah, it's a decisive moment for this country. I've covered all Zanu-PF conferences and congresses. I wish James Hardy Chase. Do you remember James Hardy Chase?
Yeah.
If he was going to write a novel, he was going to say the elephant in the room. If he was to write about Zanu-PF, the elephant in the room, we'll discuss it later. Yeah, it's a very, 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 very decisive and toxic week towards the conference in Mutare. It's unlike the other conferences. The Koromonzi, remember the Koromonzi one? It was not as toxic as this one. We're seeing people being reassign people being fired 24 hours, 48 hours before the conference. So it means there's chaos in the cockpit. And the chaos what we're talking about is what has brought me here to discuss with you. So let's not be lied by people who are saying, especially on Twitter, X now, Facebook, to say everything's under control. Far from it. There's chaos in the cockpit. We are going to see a lot of things unraveling. Just last night, it has not been confirmed, but we have seen on X that the director,
The whole director.
a former soldier, was dismissed. Then I sent my bets. I've got bets that give me information to say what's happening. The bets are alleging that the so-called offending director refused to accredit some affiliates. I call them the poor boys. You see, if there's chaos, if you are saying there's no chaos, you are fooling yourself. You are fooling yourself. There's chaos. All those that are saying you can't fire a director on the eve of a conference, having reassigned other people.
Top people in the Politburo as a strategic position.
Top people that allegedly assisted the ascension of our incumbent, our president. I mean, surely you don't even need to be a student of politics to understand that there's chaos in the cockpit.
Now, I want us to look at the reassignments. What does this reassignment mean? I mean, you as a senior newsman, as you look at these reassignments and you're talking to your journalists in the newsroom, because you want to inform people, what do you want the people to glean out of this?
Blair, when I assign you from the position of political editor to go and be an entertainment editor, I am sending a statement. There are two things. Either you have failed, or you're useless, you are hopeful, or you are not part of my bigger game plan. That's where I'm saying. As a new person, I know I've done that. I've resigned people. I've taken a sports journalist to be a political editor. I've taken an entertainment editor to be a business editor. To realign them with my aspirations and where I want to go.
And where do you think this Zanu-PF, because they call it a big machine, where do you think this machine wants to go? In the words of Patrick Chinamasa, that Zanu-PF is a very big machine. In the words of the President Emerson Mnangagwa, Zanu-PF ihomwe inokwana vanhu vese.
Palukata home zvinonetsa. Pati yakakura haipindi pahome yemunhu. You can't put a party in a pocket. It explodes. You understand? So I think we can't go there to the pocket of Zanu-PF, but it's dangerous. We are actually creating several factions. There are people that will refuse to go into your pocket. There are those that are already in your pocket, and others that want to come to your pocket, and others that want to go to the person aspiring to be the next president. Do you understand? They also want to go into the pocket. It's a politics of the stomach. I want to go to the next pocket. If you want to define Zanu-PF as a party that can be put into someone's pocket, we are creating factions that also want to go to the other person's pocket. That's where we are.
We have seen people coming out from different directions, some aligning with the Vice President, Constantino Chiwenga, who appears is being pushed into this succession plan and has been looking presidential of late.
I'm not sure if he aspires to be president. I'm not privy to his machinations. But the debate is around presidential term limits. You understand? So it's 2028, right? Beyond 2028 is not constitutional, right? I'm not a legal person, but what I know, the last time we voted was that the incumbent term ends 2028, right? So if there are people that are doing shenanigans to say let's go beyond 2030, it creates problems politically, socially, economically, and otherwise. What it means is that we are creating fissures in our society, and which creates instability. That's not what we want. We don't want that. Why don't we adhere to the Constitution? What does the Constitution say? I've read elsewhere. Jonathan Moyo said, no, this can be done without a referendum. I'm not a learned friend like you. Did law, right? I'm not. I didn't do law. But what I know is that if we are to agree as Zimbabweans that we have to extend the term limits of our president, submit it to the Zimbabweans, not affiliates of one political party. It's travesty of justice and a rep to a democracy.
But in the formulation of law, we need to understand that law is political in its sense, and it's mostly driven by the ruling elites. Most laws, like what Professor Love Mamaduku says, the Mugabeization of issues where he would make law to suit his needs. And don't you think that Zanu-PF, being the ruling party, has the power to do so, because they are the ones who have been voted for by the people to say you should run this country, and therefore the people trust them?
I agree with you entirely, but they agreed to this new constitution, which was passed in March 2015. Am I right? In 2013?
2013, yes.
2013. So why do they want to be renegades when everyone sat down around the table and probably others sat under a tree in Cholocho or Lupane, where I come from, drinking wine and chateu, to say we agree with this constitution, and now they want to be renegades. I think that's where the problem comes from. It is not about people hate our president. No, it is about saying, let's follow the finer details of our constitution. What does our constitution say about term limits?
I mean, this is a very interesting time for any newsman. Putting the chess pieces on the table, Njabulo, Kudatagwire, fight for life to get into the Central Committee. He has not gotten into the Central Committee. Do you think the conference could be used to get him in?
For me, where I'm seated, and I've been watching all these shenanigans. He's a good man. I'm not familiar with Zanu-PF's structures. How do you get where he wants to go? But someone was saying that he should start from the cells, and then I don't know their structures. Because yakasiyana ne triple C vanachamisa bereka mwana. I don't think Zanu-PF has called that. If Zanu-PF is adopting bereka mwana, he can be capsulated into Central Committee. I thought that rules and regulations for how you get to the Central Committee. But I've heard voices saying, no, Ashefa arikubira noda kupinda chi mtopuku. Isusu takagara kumbari, you go to they told me. I go every, I think you've seen me. But well, I mean, he's a good man. Let their politics get him to where he wants to go.
Well, how do you say he's a good man? I mean, Kudeta Gure has been implicated in massive allegations of corruption within Zanu-PF itself. If you remember, Louis Matutu, Godfrey Tsenengamu were fired from the party after they held a press conference and said Kudeta Gure, among other people, were corrupt. The Sentinel report has a dossier of corruption and allegations after allegations of this person you call a good man.
Yeah, I'm reading it from the point of view of that he's a Christian like me. Anyone who's a Christian like me is a good person. I can't take anything away from there. God will judge them, not me. Not me, my brother. That's where I am.
Let's put the pieces together. Okay.
Away from my Christianity. Let the politics and Zanu-PF deal with his ambitions. Do you understand?
Let's put the chess pieces together. We've got Kudeta Gure on the other side. We have Christopher Mtangwa, who's currently the Zanu-PF spokesperson, who many believe has got also his own political ambitions. And they've played out a press conferences we have watched. Then there's the retired general and now Vice President Constantino Chiwenga. And then there's the 2030 cabal. Now, which one looks like it's going to take it?
Yeah. Remember, just now I've just said Tagore is a Christian. He's a Christian. I'm a Christian. Vice President Chiwenga is a Catholic. I'm a Catholic as well. So he's a Christian. Do you understand? Let God decide their fates, both of them.
But from what your little beds, because you said you've got beds, right? Now yes. Now God will decide. But now it is our responsibility here to ensure that the people of Zimbabwe know where it is going. You wake up every day and you are paid to know, Jabulo. So let's leave the God thing out of this and let's talk about what's happening. Who is in the mud? Who is playing what game right now?
Yeah, there are a lot of shenanigans that play right now. My pets are telling me there's money changing hands. There's some deep secrets flying around. So it's going to be dirty, my brother. Christianity is going to clash. It has never happened before where Christians, Musabat, Catholic, clash. And what is God is going to do about it? So the onus is Zimbabweans to decide what is good for us. But my reading of the situation as a political analyst is that is going to be a tight race. This conference is not what Yobaragashi are telling you. No, far from it, my brother. It's one of the most contested conferences, not Congress. To be flat on the floor. Not literally, but in terms of people losing friendships, alliances, there's going to be an alignment of friendships.
I was reading in the Newsday, the front page of the Newsday was saying that Opam Chinguri said she will not be silenced, that there are people who are targeting her, who are targeting her children, and who want to scare her into silence from supporting the 2030 agenda. Now, is this the blood on the floor you're talking about?
Yes, it is. It is. Remember, Chief, I mentioned the constitution of Zimbabwe, it has time limits. And there are already people that grouped and said, "Anu, yakana president yake nguva yapera ndidga. We want to also do this with the person who will be the next president of Zanu-PF." But remember that these things are written down. 2028 yako yapera ndidga. So those ones that have already aligned themselves with after 2028 group in the I say nobody, we can't allow, we have to say go beyond 2028. So it creates fissures, it creates rifts, it creates animosity, toxicity, and other things. You see, politics is ubiquitous, it's everywhere. It's in church. My Catholics, they also want to be like my apostle in the next. They aspire that the Catholic, in this case I'll say the VP is Catholic, aspire that he gets in.
The Catholics will now be visiting
Sabatina. Even Masapat, STA, that are also vouching, allegedly, that we are being told that Tagwire is the apparent, isn't it? They want to eat their food without meat on Saturday. You know? Sabatina, they are. Do you understand? So it is the politics of the stomach. So you can't deny that there's factionalism in Zanu-PF.
There's also a lot of cars going around.
Yeah, see, it's a problem. It's a first for me that you find everyone, even those without driving licenses, being given cars. It's their own. It's a Zanu-PF campaign gimmick. It's not only cars, chips. Chicken in, chicken slice. I wonder why they are not giving them fish and chips from it's just basket, you know,
Ocean basket
and others. So it's the politics of the stomach. So it's going to be vicious. So it's already started.
Let's look at Blessed Geza. What role has Blessed Geza played in this politics? Some say Blessed Geza has actually spoken for the faction that backs General Chiwenga, and he came in thinking that he had massive backing, only to find himself, being left out in the open, thrown under the bus.
I'm not sure about his politics. What I know is that images they mean a lot. When you guys are meet here, you know what I'm talking about. When you see someone wearing camouflage. It resonates with not only with the military,
but with 2017.
With 2017 and those that went to war. For me, where I'm seated is a student of political science and there is a student of mass communication. It means something. Eza is trying to talk to his colleagues if he went to war, but I only saw his military fatigue. To say, comrades, what can we do? Understand? So then we have others that are flashing cash. Someone is wearing a camouflage. Someone is putting money on top of his or her table. So what we're having here is a cash and the military.
Doesn't the military have a price?
Money is nice, my brother. Money is very convenient. Military might have cash, but I've not seen them flashing it.
I mean, can't they also be bought by those who are flashing the cash?
With money, you can buy anything. You can buy anything. There are a lot of rumors flying around. Cash, what. But I've not seen them launching schemes to say it. Takupa masoja itapiwa ji. Cash. Nakuna motor initiate. I just saw cars. But the other camp was saying money. So it's flamboyancy and discipline.
Let's talk about this new Zanu-PF versus the old that was led by Robert Gabriel Mugabe. As a journalist, you've covered these both eras, and what are the stark distinctions that you see from Mugabe's cunningness, ability to control the party, and Emmerson Mnangagwa's use of money, and also then finding himself being fought internally by comrades. I mean, for almost for the first time you saw Blessed Geza was the central committee of Zanu-PF openly attacking his leader. You also hear that the president himself saying that he doesn't support the 2030 agenda. He's a constitutionalist and he does not intend to go beyond 2028. And during Mugabe's era, if Mugabe said something like that, no one would repeat something that would go against the president's own utterances. So let's draw those parallels.
From where I'm seated, Blair, I might be naive, but I've been around. I've never seen flashing of opulence and cash during Mugabe's time, like what I'm seeing. I know I always, when I go and watch football, I post my pictures, but I've never shown money to anyone. That's the difference. That's why you find people are saying, no, what this term Zikananda. Zikanandas were there during Mugabe's time. Do you know that? But they're not as flamboyant as what we are seeing now. I think that's where we get this factionalism and the toxicity around Shivayo and other people. Do you understand? So I think that's where the difference is. For me, Mugabe and ED, you can't separate them. They were together for a long time. And this guy. But now the problem is how the people around him are doing things. We can't deny it. We've always had tenderpreneurs. Do you understand? But I don't know how these ones now have gone beyond. If you talk to any Zimbabweans, they are not happy that this is what is happening. But they were there. They were there. It's not new. It's not new. Business people, they get tenders from government for them to be what they are. Do you understand? You can name them. They are there during Mugabe's time. They were there. They were there. But it is because of the flamboyance
and extravagance
that has angered not the Zimbabweans, people within Zanu-PF. There's no way, Chief, the so-called Zikanandas can pay everyone in Zanu-PF. Kune mai wangu ari kulupane anoda mari yachivayo noze because she has no access. She wants that money, not only in Lupane. That's why vumbunu kwamafunda. So it is about allocation of resources. You see? Explain to me why I saw a minister giving day-old chicks to some people somewhere. Why is she not at my rural area in Gwamba Valley? What are they saying there? So it's allocation of resources. So tell me, do you think Matebeleland, where I come from, they don't have a Chivayo equivalent? People are watching all these things. So that's why I'm saying there's a rift in Zanu-PF. It's not about us in the media, not about us, students of politics. No.
We know that the downfall of President Robert Gabriel Mugabe was his wife, Grace Mugabe. The manner in which she treated those who were in power, the manner in which that she spoke and stuff. Some are saying that President Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa is facing his Waterloo very soon. What could be his downfall if he faces a Waterloo?
I've disagreed with people that Grace Mugabe was the downfall of Robert Mugabe. No, far from it. There are a lot of factions, like the way we are now. She was just there, given a platform to talk what she spoke about. But because there were other people that had ambitions, they wanted to perpetuate the rule of the late president. They also participated in the downfall of Mr. Mugabe. You understand? It's different from where we are, where I am seated. The incumbent has tried to embrace everyone. Remember, I'm talking about a guy that has been there. Zambia, Mozambique, 1980 up to now. He knows the system. He knows how to plug gaps and this one. That's why he's able, on the eve of the conference, to fire a director at the Zanu-PF headquarters who is a soldier.
Is that wisdom?
It's not
Tactic?
wisdom. It is political machinations spiced with military intelligence. Do you understand? He's been there. He knows the game. But I'm not sure whether he will succeed. What is going to happen where I'm seated? The Zanu-PF provinces are going to decide.
Zanu-PF provinces are going to decide.
Decide.
These provinces led by chairpersons who were given $100,000
Exactly.
each,
Precisely.
and top of the range SUV vehicles.
Precisely. They're the ones. Oh, maybe they've decided. They're the ones who are going to decide.
On the back of resolution number 1, which was passed in Blawayo last year at the conference, that President Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa should go beyond 2020.
You should understand how Zanu-PF works. If there's a resolution, it has to be implemented. You might go to the tallest tower light in Harare. The Secretary General of Zanu-PF has to make sure that that resolution passes.
And that Secretary General has been shifted places.
I'll say this cliche again. From where I'm seated, I think is allegedly to have not aspired to have that resolution passed. It could have been gridlocks within the works. But in a political party like Zanu-PF, it's a one-way street. We want this. It happens.
So in your view,
So before I get there, I've read someone say, but why was this resolution not opposed in Bulawayo? Was it Bulawayo?
Yes.
I think that person is right. Because now it's just a straight jacket.
Coming out of this conference, Zanu-PF, I mean, from the history of covering Zanu-PF conferences, nothing much really happens there except touring the line, right?
Yes, it's just a talk show, rubber stepping, nothing changes. I saw it in Koromos.
When everyone thought Mugabe was on the line.
I saw it. So it's just a rubber stamping. So what is there? We are going to see personal differences. People fighting in the bars. You say, you are anti-2030. That's what we're going to see. That's why we have we saw an organization called Anti-2030 Affiliates. They were registered. You saw it. They were there for a purpose. You are with us, against us. But it's a one-way street. And then it brings me to say, so if it's a one-way street, people are saying the general is he refuse that. It will need extra ordinary measures to stop the 2030 trial.
Do you think the general has the capacity to stop this? Because some people have argued that he is moving too slow and he played his cards too early and failed to back those cards.
Chief, look, if I'm your boss, and I'm supposed to
you were my boss.
Yes, I know. And if I'm your boss and my term is expiring next to me, what do you expect? Automatically to go the top. But if I think that you have intentions to cling to my desk where I'm supposed to go, I also get angry. And this is what we think is happening. I don't know whether it's happening, but natural.
I mean, you heard Christopher Mchangwa during his last press conference. He confirmed these things at a press conference. In his own words, he said that there are people who are edging on someone in the presidium, and he was talking obviously about the vice president, Constantino Chiwenga, when the leak came out over the dossier on corruption. And Chris Mchangwa says he warned the vice president for being edged on and for fighting against the whole Politburo by himself.
Look, Chief, look, my brother. I'm not privy to Zanu-PF's constitution, how the incumbent gets to be succeeded by the vice president. I don't know. But as a lay person and a non-partisan Zimbabwe, one would think automatically if term President Mnangagwa's term finishes, maybe one of the two vice presidents steps in. I don't know what it happens. But from where I'm seated, again, to use the cliche, there are other aspiring candidates that want to step in, like the chap you have mentioned. But it doesn't guarantee that VP Chiwenga or Mahat automatically get to replace the incumbent. Do you understand? The other aspiring, that's why they're saying let's go to conference, then Congress. Remember, there's a Congress before 2028.
So after conference, what do you reckon is going to happen in this colossal, open court, close court, colossal party?
Conference is a much ado about nothing. People are making noise, but there is a madness in that noise. The conference is just a talk show.
But it passes resolutions that
yes,
matter.
My bouncer are flexing muscles. Do you understand? The bigger game is 2028.
2027, rather, or Congress.
Yes, so 2027, the Congress. One. This is a big conference.
So 2026 as a year could be very well defining for Zimbabwe.
Yes. Because where we are going next week in Mutare, we have not found the accommodation, and as of now, that's where the dice will be cast.
What will you be looking for, Njabulo? What would you be looking for?
I want to look at the vibe. I want to listen to people in the bars, what they say. I want to listen. Remember, I have pets. I will be with them. What are people saying?
From my time as a journalist, Njabulo, I would say that I've found that there are more ministers in President Emmerson Dambuzo's government who are unhappy with their principle, but they are serving in there more than they were in Mugabe's government. Do you have this sense? Have you seen this sense? And if so, why is that?
No, I have not seen it. What I've seen is that everyone who's there is towing the line. Phone any minister now and say, what do you think about 2030? They said, do it.
Obviously on the phone, but have you sat down in the bars with them? Because I have sat down with a couple of them, and they feel that the economy is not performing right. They feel that they are not being heard. In fact, some of them are so unhappy that they've been relegated to the sideshow where Tungwarara has now become an official minister running projects on behalf of government whilst they watch. Some of them actually think that during President Robert Mugabe's time, you would not easily see a civilian get out of that helicopter, that presidential helicopter. You could not easily.
Yeah, I've not heard them say that. I patronize a lot of these places. I've not heard them say that, but from my observation, I get taken aback to say, but how do we get this way? People get this closer to the president. Do you understand? And with people who are not ministers, fronting some presidential schemes. Do you understand? That's what we are saying resonates with those ministers that I know that we have sat with. It's a cause of concern. That's what I'm saying. For Sheikh building to say there's no rift or fissures in Zanu-PF, for me, it's a lie. The fissures, we can't deny that. There's noise in the cockpit. Like I said, the dice will be cast in Mutare. I'll be in Sakuva.
Do you think? I mean, ED has it under control. He's got power in his hand because he once said in a statement when he was addressing in Dubai, I think, where he said that he has been in the security for a very long time, and people I think he's not seeing these things, but he's seeing them and is ready for them. Do you think he is actually ready for them?
Yes. The incumbent has a lot of advantages. CIO, is military, is immigration, is everything. He's in charge of the country, and he still have got years to serve. So he has to make sure that his term is in charge. Right now, he's in charge.
Do you think that there are many people who are going to stake their heads to ensure that President Emmerson Mnangagwa goes beyond 2028? Because if he does not, there would be blood on the floor. They would lose money, they would lose jobs, they would lose influence.
It's obvious. If you look at the financial intelligence report from South Africa, it exposes our brother Chivaya to say he did this and that. Or do you want him to be submitted to the law enforcement agency elsewhere, ZIM or outside the country, when that document is damning? You would rather ask for and fund and campaign for the extension of the incumbent, because you're guaranteed of your safety. If it is true what we are reading, not only him, all the other ones that are being mentioned in those dossiers, the fake dossier is mentioning a lot of people. Do you understand? So they would rather have someone who will cover their back if they are in the wrong. I want to emphasize that. If they are in the wrong, they would rather have someone who covers their back. Not to have a new person, a devil that you don't know. A devil that you don't know will not protect you. Do you understand? If they are in the wrong, they will need to be protected. If they are in the wrong.
Some of these words that have been exchanged, like for instance, one day the vice president wakes up addressing a mourners gathered at the national shrine. He speaks against Rigananda. Right? And in the next week, people who have been named in these dossiers, before they were named in these dossiers, come out and say Trish Gananda, when vice president in his speech says, we don't want Rigananda in this country. Now, you wake up and the same vice president becomes the president of this country. What's likely to happen if that happens?
Let's interrogate the concept of Zikananda. What is Zikananda in simple English?
Corrupt individual who feed on state asset.
All right. What is a Zikananda? All right. In Shona, what is it?
It's no.
No.
Yeah. It is.
Isn't it an insect that feeds on plant? Isn't it? Mm-hmm. Let's assist each other. What is a Zikananda?
During the war, the term Zikananda, I'm not sure about them being insects, but during the war, the term Zhigananda was used to talk of people who were feeding, who were illicitly or illegally feeding, or ripping off, right? The people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. As a Kananda in the way, Mkazo, an insect that feeds on the blood of a cow. Mkazo, sucks that blood and gets fat. Do you understand? That's where it's coming from.
Yeah. So the issue is, how do you then own when the
You
vice
suck the
president?
blood and then suddenly you are rich.
Yeah. But when the vice president says no to Zhigananda, and then you wake up, Kudeta Gwide says this one is a Zhigananda.
So how do you deal with this as a Kananda? It's a poison, that insect. So that's where we are. So I'm saying this conference is going to be deadly, not deadly like military. It's toxic. Friendships will be lost. There will be realignment of camps,
Political
realignment, realignment of friendships.
political careers might end.
Yes. Yes.
So now we have moved from weevils to Zhigananda.
Yes. Yes. Those that feed, like ticks, yeah. Mkaza, and they will call them mkaza. Those ones that feed on the blood of animals.
They're dangerous to their host.
Yes. Yes.
But history has a tendency of repeating itself, Jabulo. We have seen this before, haven't we?
No, I've tend to disagree with people that say history is going to repeat itself in Zimbabwe. No, I'm not seeing a coup. I'm seeing realignment in Zanu-PF.
This realignment will be peaceful.
It'll be peaceful.
Are you sure?
I'm not seeing people going to ZPC like what we saw. I'm seeing it finishing at Shake Build. I want to agree with people that on X, I know people who are saying X, you talk rubbish. But I want to agree with people on X that we are going to see Zimbabweans agree to have a peaceful resolution of this crisis. It's a crisis that we have. I've seen
But
people.
jealous Mawarire, who appears to be close.
So let me finish. I've seen people saying that why do you get involved in Zanu-PF issues? Zanu-PF is a ruling party. Everyone has a stake in it, whether you voted for it or not. They are the ones that decide our taxes. So we need to be involved.
Yeah.
Commentary.
But someone has argued that the guarantors of power in Zanu-PF is the army. And even Zanu-PF itself has said that in so many ways.
It has been shown. It's documented. We saw the late commander of the army saying that it's a straight jacket. Remember, that this country won't be ruled by someone.
So
they're stockholders.
Yeah. So the changes that you talk that would not include the military. What kind of change would that?
No. I didn't say
the military is the guarantor of power.
I didn't say it will not involve the military.
And you seem to be contradicting yourself, because you said whatever is going to happen, if there's going to be a change, it has to be extraordinary.
Yes, because the military is involved in Zanu-PF. Look at the guy who was fired yesterday. The director was a military guy.
And the military guys will just fold their hands and say
they will not. That's why I said it's a toxic conference. and it's going to be decided at Sheikh building.
Do you think Sheikh has the capacity of deciding it?
The Sheikh building is a portion of the military. You know.
But that portion that appears to be against the incumbent is being displaced and misplaced.
Yeah, we don't know what's happening underneath. Did you know how the coup was cooked?
I did. I was in the cockpit. I understood what was happening.
It's fine.
But I want us to talk about this because for me, Mjabulo, it would be disingenuous for me to allow you to off the hook on this one, because you tell me, you told our viewers that for anything to change, there's going to be extraordinary measures that need to take place. And you agree that the military are the stockholders and the guarantors of power in Zanu-PF. Now, if there are fissures, who will be the arbiter? Who will be the final, who will have the final say to say, this is what Zanu-PF is going to do? Remember, because Zanu-PF is one center of power, the president of Zanu-PF can organize and reorganize his Politburo. And the removal of the constitutional factor, the legal factor, that of the running mate, actually throws the game wide open. Because had there been that running mate clause, we wouldn't be having so much uncertainty and so much gamesmanship ahead of this conference and ahead of 2027 Congress.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hear you. In as much as the Zanu-PF, I'm saying Zanu-PF, cells, Central Committee, political, other structures were not involved in what happened in 2017. If there are really fissures and rifts and divisions in Zanu-PF, I see the same scenario playing itself out. You understand? As citizens, we didn't even know, we were privileged, we didn't even know that they were undercarried, but the military wanted the Mugabe out. What can stop them, my brother? To use the same structures, seated under a tree, drinking wine in Chateo, water in Chateo, to say, so what can stop them? What happened in 2017 did not involve Zanu-PF structures. Zanu-PF structures, a friend Chris, they only came dancing at the Sheraton when everything had been done. You understand? We might have a similar scenario. We don't know. I haven't seen it's on record. The military were involved in 2017.
Do you locate the opposition anywhere in this?
Far from it. They are sleeping. They will have seized the opportunity to say they're fissures there. Let's say be robust. Let's be aggressive. Let's say mobilize Zimbabwe to say that what they used to remove Mr. Mugabe from power, there was one mantra: we want to remove criminals around. Now we're seeing documents saying the president is surrounded by criminals, and I don't know if they are criminals. If they are criminals, so why don't you use the same template? I'm not saying they're criminals, but if you go on X, they're saying Shivayo is a criminal. This one is a criminal. I've seen it. I don't know that Shivayo is a criminal. But people are saying, no, president is surrounded by criminal. I saw a video when Mr. Chivayo went to meet the president. And if you read the comments, people say, why is the president being met by a criminal? See, that's what I'm saying. So it looks like people want to play the same script.
And history is faithful. History has a tendency of repeating itself over and over again with such clockwork accuracy that you wonder whether people learn anything or forget anything.
History is a funny way of repeating itself. But let's go back to our discussion around the conference. It's going to be toxic. There's going to be hate language. It's going to be foul language. There's going to be defamatory utterances. And that says the dice to 2027 Congress.
Amazing. I want to thank you very much, Njabulo Ncube, one of the prolific journalists to have worked in the independent media, or rather privately owned media in Zimbabwe, as a political editor, as a news editor, as a deputy editor, and now leading other editors as the national coordinator of the Zimbabwe editors. And we're talking here basically the politics of the succession politics in Zimbabwe, in Zanu-PF, and how this has an effect on the economy and on the people of Zimbabwe. Succession always, when not handled correctly, can destabilize the nation and can actually affect the future of everyone involved, you and me involved. But Njabulo, I'll just give you the last words before you go in just 1 or 2 minutes to sum up, I mean, from your heart, if there's something that I didn't ask you that you strongly feel that you want to share.
Yeah, I want to go to Mtare and see how the Liberation Party comes out. I'm going there because people have said there will be blood on the floor. I want to witness that blood.
I will be at the media summit, the Southern Africa Media Summit. I would unfortunately won't be able to join the Zanu-PF conference coverage, but my beds will be there, and we will keep you hooked in. We'll make sure that you do not miss anything. So this is the Free Talk normally is every Thursday here on our YouTube channel, but this week we are airing it this Tuesday, just ahead of the conference, Zanu-PF conference. We thought here on the Free Talk we needed to give you, a package to understand what is happening within the political cycle, within the political elites, and within the political downtrodden as we get into the chips, the chicken, the cars, and the cash that the conference is normally known to dish out. Now, this is and this will always be the Free Talk. And I, your host as usual, Dara B, here at Heart and Soul TV and radio. Now, thank you very much for joining us. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this content so that it reaches as many people as possible. Thank you very much, Njabulo Ncube,
my brother,
and hope to talk to you after the conference.
Thanks, sir.
Beautiful.
Kutengo kuwa kutenga sai